everybody. My name is Carrie. I'm the communications director here at the Musk Farm.
I'm Danny. I'm the education director here at the Musk Farm.
And this is our very first Zoom to live Facebook. So let me tell you, it has been a whole thing. I think we're ready. So those of you who might just be joining us, you might already know what you're in for. This is a really special live event that we're doing that's going to be going over the story of Luna, one of our musk oxen that now has 3 legs. So to tell that story and why she has 3 legs and her journey, we are going to introduce you now to our herd manager, Jamie, and our executive director, Mark. Are you guys ready?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Switch places.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So yeah, this is Luna's story. Luna's had a pretty amazing journey. When everyone was starting to hunker down, Luna decided that would be the most appropriate time to give us one of our biggest challenges here, the little event on the farm. So we're just going to kind of walk you through her story, her amazing adventure, and how all this came to be.
So I'm back for a moment as I screen share for them. Awesome sauce.
Good.
Yeah, you guys should be good to go.
Okay. So to start off, basically, it was a normal day on the farm. So do you want to talk about it?
Sure. How preparedness. So Luna is what we would call a bottle baby, and what that means is that when she was born, for whatever reason, her mother abandoned her, which was probably had something to do with some of the handling that the people on the ground, whether it was an awkward moment or something took longer. It's really hard to tell, why it would happen. It's very, very rare. In fact, we only have a couple bottle babies. But when we have a bottle baby on the farm, they would immediately imprint on the people that were giving them the care. And so our greatest goal when we raise the rest of the herd is to always we want them to learn how to be musk oxen first. And this is really what we mean by that. We want them to be part of the musk ox herd and not the human herd. So Luna, on the other hand, she believes she's part of the human herd. She doesn't tend to stick with the other herd as much as other animals. She does, but if there's people around, people come by a gate, a fence, she really wants to be a part of that. So she's very, very, very friendly, and that can be a really endearing part of a bottle baby, but can also lead to some challenges with working with them. If you go into a pasture to herd, what we'll find with bottle babies often is they just make the assumption we're going to play with them, to be with them, and rather than just kind of get behind them as we would a normal group, and they just tend to kind of walk away, and we herd them like that. So they can be some challenges that we have just having them the way they respond to the rest of the handling that we do here at the farm. So Luna's a bottle baby, and she's very imprinted on people.
So before we keep going, Carrie and I, it's our first time going from a magical Zoom to Facebook to the world outside, we're figuring this out. And one of the magical things we just figured out is that because we are sharing to Facebook, we can't actually comment from another device back to you guys at the moment. So please keep the questions coming. Know that Carrie and I are on the other end looking at those. And when these guys get finished telling you Luna's fantastical, magical story, we will switch to question mode and we'll actually go out and meet Luna at that time as well. So know that we're not ignoring you as you bring in all these awesome questions and tell you where you're tuning in from, because we're very excited to see that part too. And continue.
We just got a grant to help us do all these wonderful things like come to you like this. This is the part that we didn't really have coming out, was the putting it all together. So you're enjoying the first part of that little journey going through. So here we go. Jamie.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, so start of Luna's big adventure. It was a normal day on the farm. Every week we run these animals through the barn to weigh them, just for health reasons. Check them over, get their weights every week, and it's also really good practice for combing season when they go through the barn a couple times a week to get combed. But so Luna's group was getting weighed, and everybody went through the barn like normal. And then once the last animal comes out of the barn, we go out right behind them and start walking them to their pen. And when we came out, Luna was kind of just hanging out, but she usually does that, so it wasn't anything surprising. But once I got closer and closer to her, I could see there was something wrong. Her back leg was not working properly, and it was broken. So in that moment, a little bit of panic. We pushed the rest of the herd back into their pen, and left Luna where she was at. And I immediately called Mark, just crying, calling Mark and telling her that she broke her leg. Broken legs are not easy on large animals. It can be basically a death sentence when, if it's broken too high up, or it's shattered, or it broke through the skin. It's really hard to put a cast on like you would a person. And so after I talked to Mark, we called our veterinarian. Sharice New is our farm vet. And she was out doing her thing, so we weren't able to get a hold of her right away. And so I called Mark back, and he started calling basically every vet that has ever dealt with muskox.
Kind of a really nice little benefit we've got is through the years, just opportunity to meet nearly anyone North America that's worked with a musk oxen. And so I just started calling everyone all over the country and all over Alaska for sure. And I had probably just about as many opinions coming out of that. The break was very clear; it was broken clean through, and so we knew that, we were able to really share with the vets, even though they weren't here, what we were dealing with. And so lots of different opinions, and a lot of it comes down to what Jamie just said, but also, it's incredibly, to nurse an animal back would be an incredible commitment on our part. And at the end of a conversation with probably one of the last vets I spoke with, which was well, you can euthanize once, and that hit home really hard. And so we knew that we had it in us, and we believed Luna had it in her. The bottle baby aspect of it was a tremendous benefit in that we knew that we would be able to work really, really closely with her. The handling would be intense and obviously go on for a long time. So we did make the decision to amputate. It was, musk oxen do carry the majority of their weight up forward. That was a good thing for Luna. Relatively small butts compared to their huge barrel chests and their heads and everything. So we had that going for us. So as Dr. Nuhu made it out, she called in a little backup from a vet who's semi-retired, John Twomey, and he has a lifetime of, kind of that more, I guess you just say, kind of field work that needed to be done. We weren't going to take Luna anywhere, so we needed to be able to have someone who had some good experience and some kind of doing more of a field surgery sort of thing to give her, start her off with their best chance.
Yeah. So, yeah, we sedated her. Once the vets both came and got her into a rock pen, which was perfectly clean and filled with snow, so it was probably the best place for her to have her surgery, on that blank slate so that it didn't get infected, since it was such an intense surgery. She actually got an epidural, which was pretty cool. I had never seen that before, to numb the bottom half of her body, before the surgery started. But yeah, so
In addition to being totally knocked out.
yeah, totally knocked out, like snoring and everything. But yeah, so she got her surgery, got her leg taken off, and she had a new stump.
She had broken her leg, it was very high on her tibia. And so we were able to leave her femur and just work with that. So she had this nice little stump in the last slide you could show. I'm just going to flip back for a second here. Jamie there in the bottom right is, that's Luna right after we did her surgery. So that's her fresh little stump.
Yeah, so and after her surgery, that's when the real work began.
Oh boy.
She had to, excuse me, she had to be given her pain medication twice a day at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. And then in between that, at 4 p.m., she got her antibiotics. The fun part was that all of her pain meds were pills. So I had to crush them all and put them in like a nice sugar water, and administer them by mouth. So she wasn't very happy about that.
And this also, March can be a little bit of a transitional time for us into spring. It was cold and it was windy. So top right there, Jamie rushed home, sacrificed a comforter, and built her a little jacket. So she wasn't moving around generating heat. She wasn't eating right away, which is certainly where they're getting a lot of their heat, just from their rumen and the activity that goes on in there.
Yeah, and so she was getting her medication 3 times a day, and then also for that first couple of days, she really wasn't getting up. She taking off her leg is obviously a traumatic experience. So we were helping her up every 2 hours just to get her up and get her blood flowing back to her legs. But she really wasn't taking any steps. Really, we were kind of just holding her up to get that blood flow back to her.
Yeah, that first week was super scary. We had, she was getting up less and less, and not getting, blood flowing to other limbs, and she was, and she definitely, felt like she was kind of starting to go in a spiral that was the wrong direction. So we decided we needed to get her up and make it possible for her to stay up. So bottom left, you can see our first little iteration of a sling that was sewed for her, and also a little contraption. So the idea being that she could just be on her feet without having to, overly work, her other legs, and she could just kind of hang out with that and be on her feet for a little while, and also then start eating. And this was an absolute silver bullet.
Yeah, the first day she was not very happy with us, but eventually she got better about letting us put her in the sling, and her standing up. She would actually help us towards the middle of it. But yeah, Mark went and sewed probably 7 different times, trying to make this sling perfect for Luna's body and how it held her. Make sure we weren't getting rub spots, because she was staying in it for a good amount of time. At the beginning, we probably started with like an hour, 2 hours, and we gradually increased. And she was probably in it for about 5 to 6 hours towards the end, just making sure her feet were moving, got blood flow, and she was able to eventually just stand there, and the sling was just kind of there for added support, which was really awesome.
Yeah, you can see all these different straps. There's a big change between the photo on the left and the right. It kept getting bigger. We had more support from, under her chest. as time went by, and also just in the back. But we didn't want her hanging there. That wasn't the goal. But we also wanted it to be, pretty effortless for her. And those are all cargo straps, so we'd get her up and we'd be cranking up on one and try to keep it all even. And she was an absolutely unbelievable patient and incredibly cooperative with her rehab here.
Yeah, so we were putting her in the sling every single day. So she was getting used to standing, getting her blood flowing back. She
Eating like a champion.
Eating. So we had like little bowls that we'd put out with her hay, her pellets, and snow, because she wouldn't drink water because she preferred snow. And she would, like, the bowls were in front of her and she would kick them all, and they would fly everywhere, knocking everything over every single day. So we eventually added more hooks to place them so we could secure the bowls so she wouldn't throw them everywhere. But yeah, as we were putting her in the sling every day, she was getting stronger and more confident. And she started to kind of prop herself up when she wasn't in the sling, and starting to get on her front legs more. So she'd stretch out her front legs and kind of get up and down. Not really she couldn't get her back end up yet, but she was definitely getting there.
And then you look out and there she would be standing. And that was just an incredible to see that kind of change for her, and see her really getting up and on her own. And that just made all the difference. We knew we had turned the corner. We were going in the right direction at that point.
Yeah. And by this time, she was still getting all of her pain medications at the morning and the evening, but we were able to put her on a different antibiotic, so she only got 1 shot a week versus 7 times a week, which was...
She was not a fan of that.
She was not very happy with that at all. But yeah. These... I had come out to give her medication at 6 in the morning. And she had propped herself up, and she actually made some steps, which was incredible.
More tears.
Yeah, more tears. Sent everybody a video that morning.
Girl, Lou.
Yeah, when we saw her start to get up on her own, that was so encouraging. I mean, we had just countless hours in it with her at this point, and she was working hard and we were working hard, and this was just really amazing to get going. Oops, how do you do that? Ooh, there we go.
Here we
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. And once she started walking, or once she started getting up on her own again, she really got her appetite back, which was really awesome, because we're getting worried, because if they don't eat, their rumen kind of just dies out, which is not the best.
She needed her food for energy to get healthy. She needed that active rumen to keep her warm. And again, it was cold. It was really windy at that part of the year, and so we were pretty psyched to see her eating. That was so encouraging for us. And then the second surgery. So the first surgery had gone well, and we didn't want to spend any more time necessary than we had to with her sedated. It's just the longer she's down, the harder it's going to be for her to kind of shake the medications off. And so, and it's a major surgery. So
especially with her she was already 18 at the time. Well, she's still 18, but that's definitely an older animal.
About to turn 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely older. She's in many respects, what we would call just end of a full life expectancy. So, so she needed everything going her way. So, made the decision to go and remove the rest of the tibia. It was going to allow more space for the wound to heal, and it was going to just give her a much better chance. And she had improved so much, and she really took that surgery well. It was nothing like the first one. She was used to her sling. She was used to getting up and down. Um, and so we went ahead with the second surgery, which went really, really well.
This is her eating snow. As you can see, there's barely any snow anywhere else. I had to go and collect this for her because she would not drink any water.
Such a diva. So some little logistics in here as we move forward. She, when we removed the rest of the tibia, she didn't have much of a stump. And so not only do we have this contraption that she's hanging from, but we were doing everything in our power to try to find some way, because we couldn't keep a bandage on it, which was.
Yeah, she was able to lift her leg up to where it would just go inside of her body and there would be nothing there to put a bandage on or hold it on.
So we tried lots of different things. You can see on her back there what was affectionately known as Luna's Panties. It's definitely a one-off thing. You can't buy those anywhere.
No.
And what that gave us was a little structure to attach bandages to on the inside, and then also it had a little flap that would come up and Velcro, and it was a very fancy pair of panties. Nice little split out the back, so it didn't impede with any of her bodily functions, and so I don't think she was impressed. She looks a little embarrassed in that photo, I think. But it was very helpful in helping us to be able to get things covered up. As you can imagine, it's a big wound that needs to heal over, and it was an invasive surgery. So,
yeah.
But worked.
Yeah, and after the surgery, we actually so at the beginning, she had the whole rock pen, which was a very large area. And after the surgery, we decided to kind of section her off into a little area because she was getting so good at walking. She would run from me when I would try to give her antibiotics or her pain medication. So she was definitely feeling better, even with that second surgery.
So you can see she's got a halter on her now. This is nothing we would probably be able to do with anyone else in the herd. But Luna being Luna, she was very happy to have us put it on. And it just kind of gave us a chance the medications were paramount. There was no, guessing whether or not she would or should have those. So and you don't want to do any more sedation than you have to. It's a lot for the body to endure, a lot for organs to process. So we would put her in the halter, and I'd try to direct and hold down, and Jamie would be running around with the syringe, and it gave Luna some fun out of the whole process rather than just getting poked. So.
Yeah, so basically she was healing her big wound on her leg, and so all of her energy was basically going to her leg, and that caused her not to really shed any of her kivute during when she was supposed to. Usually it starts in mid-May. But as you can see in this video,
Earlier, trying to get a better picture of you. She had also, said we didn't want to do any more sedations than possible, but we did need to get in and clean, and so she had been sedated earlier in the day, and the animals can respond by becoming a little hyperthermic, and so she was breathing hard and super hot, and so we started doing this, and she just snapped right back, and so Jamie just watered her muskox for quite a while.
Basically the whole day, like every hour I'd go out and hose her down some more.
And that was probably one of the last times I think we actually did sedate her on that one. We were able to get to her in the stanchion and see what we needed to see and tend to her wound that way.
Yeah. So yeah, as Mark said, basically after that happened, she was strong enough and she cooperated with us enough that she was making trips to the barn now. So in doing that, we were better able to look at her stump and give her medications. So that really helped us out, not having to try to corner her and look at her stump while she's not happy with us.
Yeah, in this photo in the barn, just know that she was not invited.
Yeah, that door, she definitely slammed through that door.
She beat her way in to try to get a hold of that grain. So we had a feisty little ox back on our hands at this point. And we knew we'd gotten her in good shape.
Yeah, and so I'd come in every day and check on her and all the other animals. And on my Saturday, I'd come in and Luna was not in her pen. There was a board down and broken in half, and Luna was nowhere to be found. So I had to go drive around the whole farm trying to find her. And she was way in the back, just laying down, chilling, chewing her cud, and escaped. And so then I had to walk her all the way back to a different pen because so she didn't escape again. But then after that, I decided she was ready to be with her friends. In that video, you'll see her with the cheeses, Munster and Gouda, and Xenon. So she was able to be back with her muskox herd again.
So that is a very short version of a very long story. But it's amazing. Always just kept referring to her as the toughest little muskox in all of Alaska. Luna was the most amazing patient you could ever hope for. She is so strong and so tough, and she was amazing, and she made it super easy to work with. If you want to, we got a little pitch in here at the end. Luna's 18 years old. She's in great shape. But if you want to, she is available for adoption too. So there's a little tag for our membership arm or Friends of the Muskox, if anyone wants to get involved that way. But you'll be able to come back to this video. It's all recorded. It'll be on our YouTube channel, Muskox Farm Official. And so you'll be able to come back to that link if you want to. And otherwise, should we answer some questions or let's go meet? We're going to go visit Luna and we can start answering some questions as we go.
Oh, you went back to your. You want them to see it? Hey, Luna. You brought friends. Hello. Man.
So this was Luna's little contraption. She came back to visit. I don't think she's been in this little pen. She left. There's written all gussied up so that we could get the illustrator Amanda Rose Warren to be inspired by Luna. So that's why she's got a little color going on her horns.
We also feel that it just Luna's inner personality of just being rainbows at all times. So I've got a couple questions coming through. I've got a question from Miss Robin Bale. Hi, Robin. She would like to know if there's any way to know when a muskox is in pain. Do they vocalize? Do they pant? Is there an elevated heart rate?
I guess more like, I would say when they are in pain or something, they usually don't eat. So when they have like an appetite loss, that's when you know something's probably wrong with but yeah, during the noises or anything that would indicate that she was hurting at all.
I think the animals just deal with pain so differently than we do. It's certainly no lack of being in pain, but just whine about it, complain. It just kind of is.
I've got a question from Bobby. Can Luna lie down?
Yes, she can.
Luna's 100%.
She loves it.
Yeah, That's one
One
of
of
her
her
favorite things to do. Yeah, no, she's up and down at will. She has no problem really any of her mobility. You saw in that one of those last little videos, a little scamper. She's about the cutest thing in the world to watch Luna scamper around out there. So she's just, I mean, at this point, she's aside from missing a leg, behaving like any other muskox.
Danny, is the somebody's saying that the audio is lost.
Oh
Is it
no,
on? Because I think we turned it off for the.
it is on.
It is on. Okay, just kidding. False alarm.
It could be because it's on the bottom.
Yeah.
So we'll try to talk louder.
We need a shout.
Everyone shout.
So that last, so we had a couple of questions. Just to repeat loudly, we had one question from Robin that was if muskoxen can feel pain, and there really isn't much of a way for us to tell. Just as a recap, and then Barbara was asking if she can lie down, and we were seeing that it is in fact one of her favorite pastimes. So yes, we're back up. Okay. So yeah, I think we just need to shout.
Yeah, we'll talk louder.
It comes and goes, Trish says. Talk loud! We're here!
What do you think, Luna?
So that last little note from Trish. Trish is our author for Luna's story, and we're super grateful for Trish. Has been an amazing volunteer. She's combed lots of kiviot. Now she's written Luna's story. So we're so excited to get that out there. Something really fun to look forward to in the months to come.
Yes, thank you, Trish. So we'll just keep hanging out here for a few more minutes. I know that it's been hard to hear us, so apologies on that. Feel free to keep asking your questions. I'll try to go back and answer them on Facebook if we don't get to them, or if you can't dress.
I'd say you'll get to see Luna move with her awesome one leg, but we're doing our favorite activity, which is eating.
I can see her down there.
Should we get her to go?
Should we get her to go? You guys want to see her awesome? We call it the pogo leg. Oh, Luna, where's she going? Oh man, you got to move for your food. What's this?
I think we all need to go.
Yeah. Luna's like, but you guys aren't going. You gonna show them, Luna? Yay! Get all the snow. Yeah, see if you can get a look at her cute butt.
Got a couple more questions coming through. Does the rest of the herd still accept her? Do they even notice she is missing a leg?
They love and accept Luna for who she is. Yeah, there's just no change in anything. I mean, she still is,
Bossy and sassy as she was before.
bossy and sassy. She's, she still is the bottle baby, so she still likes hanging with people. So, muskox, but she's definitely got her own group. They don't treat her any different than anyone else.
And Hillary's asking, do you have any idea how long the leg was broken before you discovered it?
Probably 10 tops. Not very long at all.
It was lucky timing that we were all here. So
That's what she do, Jamie. So that date is a couple days before the shutdown here in Alaska happened, and so Carrie and I were here. We got to watch Luna's surgery, but after that, it was pretty much the poor Jamie and Mark show. 12 plus hours a day, all day long. While we worked from home, they were here taking care of Luna all day long, having to kind of get her up and moving through all the cold. And yeah.
I'm expecting her to take care of me in my old age now.
I don't think she's going. So, Katrina's asking if she's mobile now.
I would say she's fully mobile now. I wouldn't say she's fully healed yet. She's still got some healing to do, but so far she's doing great in that process, and she's trucking along.
Maybe we'll give it a few more minutes for any last questions that you all have.
I'll try to move to her face because I mean her 3 legs are pretty cool, but she does have a beautiful face with her beautiful new tag. Yeah, Jamie got her this awesome Luna tag to set her apart from everyone else. It fits her perfectly. So say Luna has, I think, a special place in all of our hearts. We'll wait a few more seconds for people if anyone has any last minute questions for us. She's one of my favorites for school groups because unlike everyone else, because like Mark was talking about, she's a bottle baby. When everyone else is a little unsure of all of our small humans we bring out here, comes right up to them and she will look them right in the eye and she'll give them a really cool look at her eyeball. It's one of my favorite things to show people is she has that really cool goatee eye on her. And she just loves getting to be near people. And so she was already super special and a unique Musk, but I feel like now we have even more amazing stories that we can show people and show kids that you can persevere through a lot of things and continue on. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining and Luke's very special live. Hope you guys all have a very safe holiday if you celebrate. And thank you guys. Anything else, everyone?
Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Luna, you have anything you want to say? No, you're just going to keep eating? That's about right. Thank you, guys.